I never wanted the date. God knows I had enough on my plate without adding awkward small talk over overpriced wine. But Kara, my best friend since high school, the one who knew every excuse I'd ever rehearsed, cornered me at the copy machine last Friday and said, "Emma, you're 28, not 80. Just one date." I laughed it off, stapling contracts with fingers sore from typing 10 hours straight. "I can't afford it, Kara. Not the time, not the clothes, not the taxi ride across town." What I didn't say was, I can't afford another disappointment. My mother's prescriptions, my brother's tuition, the rent that seems to double every year. I juggle enough bills to make clowns look lazy. Dating wasn't just low on the list. It wasn't even on the page, but she wouldn't let it go. "It's dinner, not a wedding," she teased, her brown eyes too warm to fight. "And he's not some creep. He's decent. Single dad." Trust me, the single dad part almost gave me an out. I could claim I wasn't ready for kids, though the truth was, I adored them, still. I pictured myself stumbling into some polished restaurant with my Goodwill dress and patched-up shoes, looking like a charity case next to his world. Maybe it was exhaustion that made me say yes. Or maybe it was the way Kara touched my arm and whispered, "You deserve to be seen." That word "deserve" lodged under my ribs like a splinter. So here I am, Friday night, standing in front of my mirror. The dress is borrowed from Kara, navy blue with a neckline that dips lower than I'd usually risk. My shoes, the only pair of heels I own, are taped discreetly where the leather cracked. I brush my hair 3 times longer than usual, added a thin line of eyeliner that trembled with my hand. I look like a woman trying, not a princess, not a fraud, just someone desperate to pass. As I gather my tiny purse, my chest feels tight. I remind myself, one dinner, one night. I can pretend to belong somewhere else for 2 hours. If it's awful, I'll crawl back to my little apartment, eat peanut butter from the jar, and tell Kara she was wrong. But a quiet voice inside me wonders, what if she's not? The restaurant's glass doors whisper shut behind me. I consider fleeing. Then a man stands from a corner table and my exit vanishes. "Emma," he says, welcome threaded with worry. He's taller than I pictured, sleeves rolled, no tie, a small hand is wrapped around his finger. "This is Ava," she peeks from his side pink clip. Knee bandage, solemn eyes. She stares at my borrowed neckline and blurts, "Are you a princess?" I kneel, "Only on Tuesdays." "What day is today?" "Tuesday," she declares. Jacob laughs, relief loosening his face. Childcare fell through. He says, "We can reschedule." She insisted on coming. Also on glitter. I'm honored. I say and mean it. Chandeliers glow. Waiters drift. A velvet rope is unhooked when Jacob approaches. "Good evening, Mr. Miller," the maitre d' says, like a password. Not my world. My shoes pinch as we sit. Menus land, with words I barely dare to pronounce. I ask for water and the cheapest salad, muscle memory from years of counting. Jacob doesn't comment. He orders simply and checks Ava's inhaler twice. Ava draws crowns on the paper placemat 3 stick figures holding hands. "That's you," she says, pointing to the one with ridiculous hair. "You smile big. Ambitious," I say, adding a star. "Secret wish." She leans closer like I've handed her a map. Jacob watches us like the ocean. "Thanks for rolling with this," he says. "I know it's unusual." Honestly, I shrug. "I'm better at crayons than caviar." Ava snorts. Jacob's shoulders drop. We talk small things, library story hour, how thunderstorms are sky dragons clearing their throats, somewhere between refills. I forget to perform. I just answer. When the waiter returns, I almost apologize for not being what this place expects. Instead, I help cut Ava's chicken while Jacob eats slowly, as if memorizing. The room that had been all chandeliers and nerves narrows to a circle of warm light. His steady voice, her milk mustache, my breath evening out. I don't know what this is or what he sees, but I know what I'm choosing. Not glitter, not grand gesture, just this. Sit here, ordinary and honest, and let myself be seen as I am. I just started to relax when it happened. My purse slid from the chair with a soft thud, scattering receipts, lip balm, and the battered truth of my life. Those shoes, One heel stuck out where the tape had loosened, a gray strip peeking beneath dim crystal light. Jacob bent before I could move, gathering papers. His hand brushed the worn leather. For a breath, he didn't speak. His eyes lifted slowly, reading me in a way no mirror ever had. Not pity, not mockery, something steadier, deeper. My throat burned. "They're old," I mumbled, fumbling to shove the purse closed. "I fix things, make do." Silence stretched, thick as velvet. He didn't smile to smooth it over. He just nodded once, as if the shoes had said everything I'd hidden in 28 years of thrift and quiet hunger. I braced for judgment instead. He asked Ava if she wanted more lemonade. He didn't look away from me, though his gaze stayed present, weighty, almost protective. Dinner blurred after that. I barely tasted my salad. My cheeks flamed each time I imagined the contrast between his tailored life and my patched seams. But Ava saved me. She demanded a story, climbing onto my lap, her breath sweet with chocolate mousse. So I told one, the tale of a shoemaker who patched and stitched until his shoes could carry him to the stars. Ava giggled, asking if the stars had sidewalks. Jacob leaned in, listening for the first time all night. My shame thinned into something softer. The shoes on my feet weren't just broken. They were proof of every step I hadn't given up on. When Jacob walked us out, he didn't mention them. He only said, "Thank you for tonight," for her. His voice carried weight, but not of money. Something closer to gratitude, maybe even hope. I went home with sore feet, a lighter heart, and a question that kept circling. If he truly saw me, why hadn't he turned away? Saturday, I bought a day-old muffin, took it to the park, and claimed a sun-warmed bench. I let my phone die. Geese heckled, the pond flashed, and my shoulders finally remembered down. Emma? Jacob on the path, surprised. Ava wobbling on a scooter. We laughed, agreed to share the view. 10 minutes later, Ava slowed, palm to chest. The small whistle hardened. Jacob's face emptied. "Inhaler in the car," he said. "Already running." "Hey, Peanut, eyes on me." I crouched. Smell the flower. Blow the candle. Breath snagged. I slid behind her, chest to back, tipped us forward. "You learn tricks when life hands you emergencies with no equipment." "Jacob," I said, "steady, call 911 and keep talking so she hears you." "Ava, we ride the wave," she cried. I hummed. My breath marked time, slow and stubborn. People stared. My thrift store watch clicked. The rope in her lungs loosened. "Not gone looser." "There you go," I whispered, rubbing circles, drawing moons. The cafe waiter sprinted over with an inhaler to puffs. 3 minutes, and Ava went limp against me. Hiccuping, Jacob's hands shook. He touched her hair, then my arm. "Thank you," he whispered. "How did you?" "Because someone should," I said, plain, solid, the truest thing I owned. He looked at me as if the world had tilted, and maybe it had toward us. 3 days later, my door buzzer startled me. No one visits except Kara and the landlord. But when I opened the hall door, nothing waited except a box, small, plain, my name scrawled on top. Inside lay my shoes, the taped, scuffed pair I'd abandoned at the cobbler, embarrassed to even ask for repair. Resting on them was an envelope. I sat on the floor, knees against my chest, and read, "Emma, you left these behind, but I think you meant to leave me the truth inside them. I saw the miles they carried you. I don't want polish. I want the woman who kept walking anyway. I hope you'll let me come by, because I can't stop thinking of you. And Ava can't stop asking if her princess is coming back." My throat closed. The instinct was to run to protect myself. Protect them, to believe what I'd always believed. I was too little for their world, so I wrote my own letter, folded it with shaking hands, and tucked it inside the box. Jacob, the dress was borrowed, the shoes patched. My life is small and stretched thin. I lied because I was afraid. I don't belong in chandeliers, but for those hours with you and Ava, I wanted to believe I could. "I'm sorry. Please don't look for me." I placed the box outside his estate gate at dusk, hard hammering like I'd left behind more than leather. As I walked away, the cold cut deeper than I expected. It felt like closing a door I'd only just discovered. But some doors, once seen, never stop whispering. I heard them before I saw them, small sneakers scuffing, A lower voice trying to be calm in a stairwell that smelled like old paint and boiled onions. I stayed behind my door anyway, hard hammering. Then his knuckles landed. Gentle. Emma, Jacob didn't try the rich man voice that opens any room. He sounded like a person on a doorstep, asking permission. You left me your shoes and a letter, but not the whole truth. I think your shoes already told it. I pressed my pawn to the wood. They said you've walked through more than you ever named. He went on. They said you fix what breaks and keep going. They said you take care of everyone and call it ordinary. A pause. I don't want chandeliers. I want the woman who studied my daughter on a park bench and called it nothing. Ava's whisper drifted up. Daddy, is she home? Then, louder, the little fist of her courage. Emma, don't leave again. Something broke and something mended at once. I cracked the door. The hallway light made halos out of dust. Jacob looked wrecked in that careful way of men who've been holding it together for too long. Ava clutched a crumpled drawing, 3 stick people, a crown on the middle one. Me, I'm scared, I said. Because the lie was too heavy now. I don't fit anywhere that shines. Then let the place shine because you're in it, he said. Simple as turning on a lamp. Let me carry with you what you've been carrying alone. Not to fix you. To be with you. Ava slid a mittened hand into mine. We can share my inhaler, she announced. Solemn hospitality of the small. I laughed, crying. I don't know how to do this. I admitted. Good, he said. Then we'll learn. I'll find the words for money and fear without making you feel small. You teach me how to braid bravery out of everyday things. I opened the door the rest of the way. He didn't rush me. He just stepped inside the chipped light and waited. I set my forehead against his shoulder. Ava wedged between us like a promise. In that dim hallway, Christmas at the Miller estate looked like something from a magazine. Garlands on stair rails, fire crackling in twin hearths. Tables groaning with food that could have covered my rent for a year. I tugged the hem of my burgundy dress, simple but mine, bought with my own paycheck. My shoes were new too. Nothing fancy, but well-fitted. I tried to stand tall, though nerves pressed like invisible hands on my shoulders. Ava barreled through the dining room, waving a paper. Emma, look. She thrust a crayon drawing at me, 3 figures holding hands beneath a Christmas tree. At the top she had scrawled, "This is our family now." Tears burned instantly. I laughed them off, but Jacob caught my hand, thumb tracing the bones of my knuckles. She's right, he murmured. This is us. Still. All doubts crawled up, like weeds. Could I really belong here, with polished silver and people who spoke about ski trips like grocery runs? I remembered the tape on my old heels, the rent notices folded under sugar jars. A different life shadowed every step I took across this gleaming floor. Then Jacob pressed a small box into my hand. Open it. Inside, shoes. Not glass slippers, not designer labels, just sturdy, beautiful leather flats. So you never have to pretend again, he said softly. I wanted to protest, to say I wasn't someone you gifted new shoes to, that my life had been hand-me-downs and patched seams. But his eyes left no room for refusal. They weren't giving, they were recognizing. I slipped them on, toes curling into soft leather. They fit, not like a disguise, but like a place I was meant to stand. The chatter and clinking faded. For once I wasn't performing, apologizing, or shrinking. I was standing on new ground. Ours. Snow needles the windows, then softens to flurries, the kind that hush a city. Ava has fallen asleep in a tangle of tinsel and picture books. One hand still holding a crayon as if she paused mid-sun. Jacob drapes a blanket over her and comes back to the couch, where my feet, my new, ordinary beautiful shoes, are tucked under me like I've finally learned to keep warm on purpose. He doesn't make speeches. He just laces his fingers with mine, and the quiet fills with things I used to beg for. Safety that doesn't ask for a costume. Attention that doesn't turn into inventory. Presence that stays. I keep thinking about the park, he says, voice low. How you move toward fear instead of away. I laugh, embarrassed. Honestly, I counted her breaths and prayed the waiter had an inhaler. That's the point, he says. You love like it's your job. You didn't audition. You acted. I study our hands. Mine are nicked from a life of carrying. His are steady from holding everything together with money and lists. You saw my shoes. I say, all the miles. I saw the walker, he answers, and I want to walk with her. Something in me that has been braced for years and clenches, one notch at a time. I think of how I chose water and salad because habit taught me to take the smallest slice. How I tried on a shinier version of myself and found it didn't breathe. I think of Ava's solemn invitation, don't leave again, and the way Jacob knocked like a man asking, not taking. This isn't a rescue, I say, to be sure. To hear it out loud, no, he says. This is a family. We check on Ava. Together, she snores like a tiny bear. I tuck the blanket higher. Jacob kisses her hair. When we sit again, I rest my head on his shoulder and feel the quiet thesis of it settle. Love measures not what glitters, but what steadies. Not the label on a dress, but the hand that reaches when the breath catches. Truth isn't fancy. It's a doorway. You walk through or you don't. Single quotes. I choose to walk. Tomorrow I'll still budget. Still carry. Still be a woman who fixes things. But I won't perform. I'll belong. I'll tape what needs taping and laugh about it. And when I can, I'll buy the better shoes and not apologize. We'll make pasta and miss bedtimes and overwater a plant. We'll learn each other's languages. He'll name the numbers without using them as walls. I'll teach him that courage sometimes looks like showing up with patched seams and a soft voice. Snow keeps falling. 3 hands, 1 life.